Oops. Let everybody join up here. We are now live. This is so exciting. Hey, that will be officially live in a minute. Huh? Who's in here? All right. Let people join up. If you are here and in the chat, go ahead, drop some messages, introduce yourselves. I would love to know who is all tuned in here. Wait a second, let some people trickle in and join up. But I cannot wait. I put this together. I want everybody to understand that you will be better at social media after watching this webinar. That is something that I can absolutely guarantee. And as long as you put into practice what I'm going to teach you today, the results you're going to see on social media are what you've been dreaming of, right? So that's the goal here. This is the content playbook. So I can't go on, giving you guys valuable information if you don't know who I am. So I'd love to give you a quick introduction. I'm Seth Zapata. I am the head of business development and sales here at Story. And I've loved every single minute of it. These guys are unbelievable. I've been in sales here going on 7 years, which sounds insane to say out loud. I'm a content creator too. I've done well over 20 million views on multiple platforms, have tens of thousands of followers across multiple social media platforms. Funny enough, I'm going on 10 years of experience, which at 22 sounds insane, but people were learning their ABCs. I was learning how to figure this stuff out. So originally from Los Angeles, California, which is unique. Story is we're all based in Salt Lake City. I've been here going on 6 years now, and I absolutely love it. Completely different than LA, but not to say anything negative about it. I love everybody here. So it's been awesome time. Now on today's agenda, I want to make sure, number one, we identify your purpose for posting on social media. A lot of people just post without a purpose. They don't know what they're doing. They see other people do it. They think it looks cool. Maybe you have a business, but it's about diving further into that purpose and really identifying why you have that purpose and who can relate to that. We also want to understand how to test content and scale it. This is something that a lot of people struggle with, especially starting out. It takes hours and hours of research and hours of time to try different things and put it together. Instead of doing that, guys, I'm giving it all to you for free. So super excited about that. You're going to learn how to find your formula when it comes to being successful on social media. It's really not about reinventing the wheel with every new video, rather just finding a formula that works for you that you can repeat across every single one of your videos. And the nice thing is once you find that formula, it's just about repeating videos within that formula over and over and over and over again to continuously see that growth. So we're going to help you find that formula. Now, I want you guys to understand what you're gaining here, okay? First off, every single one of you is going to leave this webinar with more confidence. You will never have to second guess yourself again and never have to question whether or not you're doing things right or whether or not your strategy is on point. You will be confident and competent, more importantly, in social media, and you'll be literate. I'm going to teach you guys a ton of different vocab and teach you the lingo. So super excited about that. You're also going to have the ability to generate leads organically in any industry without some crazy $1 million marketing budget, which is honestly $1 million, even $1 billion skill. People go to college and spend tens of thousands, not hundreds of thousands of dollars on a degree to learn how to get people's attention. And this is just helping you do that. So another thing too, you're all going to get money. I know. Everybody get excited. We're all going to get money from this call, not only because you're going to know how to monetize all of your organic social media leads, but you're also going to get a massive discount on every single tool that you need to be successful on social media. So get excited, free money. Not every day you get to say that. Before we start off, I just ask that you guys remove any distractions. It can feel really, really overwhelming. I'm giving you a step-by-step guide of everything you need to be on social media and to be successful. And if you're doom scrolling through half of it, it's going to be really difficult to play catch up. Another thing I recommend too is if you guys could just take some notes. Honestly, like if you guys are able to retain even 70% of this, then you're going to be a hell of a lot better off on social media than if not. And taking notes always helps. Another thing too is if you guys have a question, just feel free to type it in the chat. Honestly, like ask me questions. I'd love to answer your questions. If you want to pick my brain on stuff, again, I put my 10,000 hours in, so feel more than welcome to ask any question. There's no such thing as a wrong question here. So super excited for that. Now, let's start off with identifying your purpose on social media. Why are you even posting on social media? Are you trying to raise awareness for something? Is it generating leads for your business, or are you selling a product? Look, guys, at the end of the day, if you're posting on social media, you're selling something. You're selling something. I don't care what industry you're in, you're selling something, whether it's a product, whether it's a service, whether it's yourself, whether it's an idea on something, right? Or even awareness, right? You're selling a problem and you're selling the solution, hopefully, right? So I really want you guys to sit here and think, why am I posting on social media, right? In the next 90 days, what do you want from social media and why? You have to do the math backwards, okay? So let's identify your purpose. Everybody take a second, go ahead, write down what's your purpose for posting on social media? What's your number one goal, okay? And once we have that, it's time to find your niche. Now, I know you guys are wondering, dude, what's a niche? I don't even know what that is. It sounds French. A niche is just the very specific group of people you want consuming your content, right? And to find these people, you really have to understand, what industry are you even posting for? Like, who do you want consuming your content, right? And you also need to specify the exact sort of content you're going to create, right? Like if you're in real estate, right? Are you going to do fix and flips? If you're a car salesman, right? Are you going to be going over deals that you're negotiating, right? Is this like a budget friendly thing? Are you doing at-home stuff, right? People in all sorts of industries can come up with a bunch of different types of content. So identify the type of content that you're going to create. And also, who is this content supposed to target? Who do you want consuming your content and why? You really have to understand why. And that's when, having your purpose comes into play, right? Because you know what you want out of them. If you want them to convert into sales, right? If you want them to convert into signups for a webinar like this, right? You got to know who you're marketing to. So everybody take a second, go ahead, write down who do you want consuming your content, what industry are you in, and specify that type of content that you want to create. There's so many different types. Now, another thing with finding the target audience, right? Going back to why do the people relate to your content, right? Are you providing value? This is the number one thing on social media that people neglect. You need to be providing free value. That's what I'm doing here, right? I'm on the webinar. I'm giving you guys free value. So what sort of value you're providing? There's so many different ways to provide value, whether it be in your services, whether it be advice, you can do tips and tricks, whether that be in just entertainment, right? Entertainment is extremely valuable for a lot of people, right? So understand what sort of value are you providing? And then you really want to identify what your viewer looks like. Okay, really, I want you guys to close your eyes and really just envision, what does your viewer look like? Is it a man? Is it a woman? Do they have long hair? Do they have no hair at all, right? At the end of the day, these are the individuals that you're posting for, right? Categories of people aren't consuming your content. Individual people are. I want you to envision who exactly is consuming your content, okay? And then we're going to figure out how to make you guys stand out, okay? And with this comes finding at least 3 to 5, we call them pillars of creation, okay? These are 3 to 5 key things that make you stand out. So we're going to get to that here in just a second. But again, going back to the groups of people and why they'll relate to your content, why should somebody even watch you, right? And it's going back to being extremely different in your niche, right? Because what makes you stand out from the millions of other videos that these people are consuming, right? And again, summarizing, we got to make sure that you're providing that value. And How are you unique? Let's go into that, right? Going into the pillars of creation. Now, again, this sounds like some big fancy mumbo jumbo. Really, this is just, again, just super basic things that make you stand out and what makes you unique. At the end of the day, everybody is completely unique. There's something that makes you stand out from everybody else, right? What I want you guys to think of when you're identifying your pillars of creation, think, what do you do best with the least amount of effort? Everybody has those things that you can just do all day long without a sweat, and you do it the best. So think of that. And how can you combine that with the content you're already posting for your industry, right? Some of you guys are wizards with tech, and some of you guys are hilarious and could figure out how to make even the most, what seems like the most boring industries entertaining and fun, right? And there's so much value in that. So I want you guys to write at least 3 to 5 things that make you unique. And I want you to relate that to your content and see how you can structure it in a way to stand out. Now, I want to give you guys some examples, right? We talk about pillars, and I always have been one to learn by example. So I'm going to provide some right here. What are my pillars, right? Obviously, this is something that I've thought about before. Now let's dive into what my pillars are. Number one, my sales experience. Again, 22 with sales, 7 years of sales experience. That is a pretty long sales career for somebody who's 22. And it just gives me a really fresh and unique view on sales that maybe somebody who's been in the industry for 30 years might be jaded on and not understand, right? I can relate to the younger guys in sales, right? Those are the guys who are killing it right now. And I can also provide a bunch of new information for people that have been in sales for years and years and years. And, you know, the game is constantly changing, right? You can't teach an old dog new tricks sometimes, but when you offer a fresh perspective to people that want to listen, usually it works out really, really well. Now, my second pillar of creation is going to be content creation. Obviously, having 10 years of experience in really anything at the age of 22 is almost unheard of nowadays, unless you're like a race car driver. But yeah, I mean, I put my 10,000 hours in, and being a younger guy in this space where my age demographic is usually who's running this. So I'm always up to date with what's going on with specific algorithms, what's different. And again, it's just about that perspective and point of view that I can offer. So that's my second one. My third one, and this is my favorite, this is what I do best with the least amount of effort, is humor. Okay. I love cracking jokes. If you know anything about me, you know I'm always laughing at something. I always find a reason to smile, and I love bringing that joy to people, right? And the way I've integrated this with my content is I'm able to take specific aspects of what I do and turn them into really funny skits or some specific series, right, that people absolutely love. And honestly, when I do this, it doesn't even feel like work, because again, it's what I do best with the least amount of effort. And I've found a way to put this together with my content, and it makes me stand out, which is why I've been super successful on social media. So to summarize, right, we want to find out what makes you unique. Everybody has something. I don't care what you guys say. I will die on that hill. You all have something that makes you a unique individual. And at the end of the day, people that are consuming content, they don't like influencers in the same way they don't like salespeople, right? But they do like individuals. So while I'm a salesperson, while I'm a content creator, they don't like that aspect, right? They like Seth. They like me. That's why they watch my content, because I'm unique and I showcase that in my content. So that's why they stay tuned. Now, I know you're probably wondering, dude, okay, you showed me your pillars of creation. Congratulations. Who even cares? Why do I even need to be unique on social media? Like, I feel like, yeah, sure, you could be funny, you could be this, you could be that, but who cares about my pillars of creation? I'll tell you who. Anybody on social media that wants to make money is going to care about what I have to say. Why? My sales experience, to make money on social media, again, you have to sell something, anything, whether it's yourself, whether it's a service, whether it's a product, whether it's an idea, you got to sell something. So the sales experience that I'm providing can help people elevate their game and really maybe alter their perspective and pitch something in a different way. Every single video is like a sales pitch, right? You're giving people information, you're going over why it's important and why they should do what you're telling them to, whether it be to check out or set up a phone call or whatever else, or believe something, right? So I can help pretty much everybody refine their sales pitch to some degree. Now, the next one, my social media experience, right? Anybody who's wanting to make money on social media, which, by the way, pretty much 60 to 70% of everybody in the entire world right now wants to make money on social media. I don't know of anybody I could go to and say, hey, man, you want to make money on social media? And they're going to say, oh, no, I don't want to do that, right? Maybe there's that handful of people that might not want to, but everybody wants to do this. And in that, you're going to have to elevate your social media game. This isn't anything that you can truly master. It's a never-ending learning experience. And with people always wanting to elevate their game, they're going to want to pick up as many tips and tricks as possible, just like you guys. That's why you're here. We're going over why this is important and how to put your content together in a way to be successful. Now, my final reason is entertainment. This is the number one reason why people even care about my stuff in the first place. Okay. Everybody loves entertainment. Again, I don't care what industry you're in, there's always a way to make it entertaining. And that's always something that's extremely valuable. If it wasn't valuable, we wouldn't have all these different social media platforms and we wouldn't have all the content that we have if nobody wanted to be entertained. At the end of the day, everybody wants to be entertained. So I feel like I have a very, very broad spectrum of people that could relate to my content, which is why it's done well. But again, it's unique. It's me. Find that within yourself and identify that. Now, I want to summarize this. What skills have you guys just gained right now? It's so easy to just fly through these webinars and completely forget to recap, but we're going to do that. You just gained some new skills. Now, you know your purpose on social media. You know exactly why you're posting. You know exactly what you want your audience to do. And there's no question of that, okay? You know your ideal viewer. This is extremely, extremely important to have your ideal viewer in mind. If you don't know who you're posting to, then you're done for. So you have your purpose, you have your ideal viewer, and you also have your pillars of creation. So you know now what makes you stand out from the crowd and what makes you stand out from everybody else in your industry. Now, with this, I know you're wondering, hey man, can I start posting yet? No, there's always something next, right? We've identified you as a person. We have identified why you're on the platform. Now, what we're going to learn, this is the fun part. We're going to learn how a video is broken down. This is another thing that a ton of people struggle with, especially when hopping on social media for the first time, is there's so many different analytics and there's so many different verbiages people use that make understanding this super, super difficult. I'm just going to give it to you straight up right over here. You're going to know exactly how to break this video down. You're going to know what makes the video perform well too. That's another thing that's extremely important, because even if you know how to break a video down, if you don't know what's doing well about that video, you're not going to be able to create that formula. Okay. And you're also going to be able to find videos that will perform well in your industry. I'm going to show you how to do the research. I'm going to show you what sort of accounts to look for, what sort of trends to look for, and how to break all of that stuff down. So let's get right into it. We're going to learn how to break a video down. I'm going to break it down in the easiest way possible. This is the most simple way to break a video down. You're going to have the hook. You're going to have the length. You're going to have the call to action. The hook is arguably the most important part of this video. This is the first maybe 3 seconds of your video where you're communicating why they should stay watching your video, why they should consume the rest of your video, right? Length is also important too. We're going to get into that. And your call to action. Your call to action is what you want your viewer to do. So if that's to convert into a sale, hey, click the link in bio, buy X, Y, and Z, or, convert into a sales call. Hey, again, click the link in bio or DM the word call and we'll set up a sales call, right? That's your call to action. So we have that broken down into 3 different steps. Now, again, the importance of a hook. This is catching the viewer's attention and is what will keep them engaged. Guys, if you don't have a really good hook, people are just going to scroll past your content. Again, it's not going to be any different than any other video on their social media page. So we want to have a really amazing hook. There's so many different hooks that come into play. Now, I know you're asking, how long should the hook be? I say 3 seconds max. Hooks are extremely short. And I know you're asking, what sort of hooks even are there? We're going to dive into that as well. There's so many different ways to catch a viewer's attention from just saying, hey, stop right there. Okay. So we have your visual hook. This is something that the viewer can see that just catches their attention. Like you see this lady throwing a box at someone, you're like, wait, what's going to happen? It keeps an open feedback loop and it almost forces the person to continue watching your video. They're going to have to wonder what's next. So tons of different examples for visual hooks that you can use, but it's extremely important. It's one of those things that will separate your video from the rest of the videos on that feed. If they're scrolling through, you're a realtor, right? And your ideal clientele is scrolling through on their Instagram and they see all these boring realtors saying, here's this house at this price and that house at that price, or this, I just bought this house, check this out. It's all boring stuff. And then they see you, the realtor, and you have some absolutely insane. I saw when they were doing a house tour, this guy was doing laps around the house. It was absolutely hilarious, right? But this guy started immediately, he's a house tour. He starts running around, right? That's going to make your video stand out. It's super important for retention. Now, there is the audible hook. This can be a trending sound. It could be just you saying, hey, stop right there. Immediately, I grabbed your attention, okay? So audible hooks are just as important as the visual hooks and this next one. I'm not going to give you any spoilers, but this next hook's pretty important as well. But with this, typically, you're going to be using audible hooks more in the trendy videos that you're creating. So we'll dive into that here in just a second. But you also have a text hook as well. So this should immediately communicate your point without the viewer having to engage with the rest of the video or watch the rest of the video, right? And I've given you some examples, right? On the very left, you see this guy flicking this key and he keeps hitting burgers. You know this guy's probably selling burgers, right? Lady in the middle, she's showing clothing immediately. You don't even need to think about it, right? She's selling clothing, right? You have this coffee shop to the very right. It's a contextual hook, right? You can see they're selling coffee. You don't have to sit there and think about what the message is. Immediately within the first second, you know exactly what the creator is trying to convey. So those are the 3 hooks. Now, I know what you're wondering. Cool, man. We got the very beginning of the video. I don't know how long my video should be. I mean, you guys can take a look at some YouTube videos that are 2 hours long, right? But you can also, in the same minute, see a TikTok video that's 30 seconds long, and both of them are doing really, really well. Like, how long should my video be? Does it even matter? And it absolutely does matter. But to answer this question, it fully depends on if it's top of funnel, middle funnel, bottom funnel. I know you're probably sitting there right now with your notepad. You're like, dude, what does any of this stuff even mean? A funnel? What? We're posting on social media. We're talking about funnels. We're going to dive into your marketing funnel here. So what's the funnel? You have your marketing funnel. You have the top of funnel. I want you guys to think of the top of funnel as the video that will target the widest possible audience, okay? This is something that introduces the problem and not the solution. This is just you getting your foot in the door, creating awareness. You're not having a conversation about it, right? You're just saying, hey guys, look, this is the issue. That's all it is. You leave, okay? Again, it's going to target the widest possible audience, right? Cold viewers don't know you yet. This is just about building familiarity and trying to build yourself up as the authority in your space, right? So we also have this optimized for retention. That's what's super important about these videos, right? This is when you get all the views. This is when you're optimizing for watch times and saves. We're not trying to convert people into sales with these videos, guys. It's just about getting familiar, getting your face out there, and having people know what you're all about. Now, we have your middle of funnel as well. Now, this right over here educates people on your issue and kind of trains them on how to think about it. Uh, and that's extremely important, especially if you guys are going to try to sell a product, right? They got to understand what that problem or what your product solves, what problem it solves, and how it could be useful to them, right? So it's also going to target a warmer audience, right? People that maybe aren't following you yet, but have seen you a few times on their feed, and they are interested to hear a message from a familiar face. So these are people that already know what your problem's all about and are just looking for guidance, right? So kind of like this. You guys are in the middle and bottom of funnel over here, but you guys already know all about social media, and you know it's difficult to be posting on social media. And I'm sure that every single one of you in this call is looking for guidance. Now, it's also optimized for trust and authority. Okay, this is the video right before the sales pitch. Okay, sometimes you have the sales pitch in the middle of funnel videos, but we'll get into the bottom here in just a second. But this is where you really establish yourself as the authority. This is where you're telling people, hey, look, I have this experience, or hey, look, I know all about this. I'm an expert in this field. This is where that familiarity in kind of combines with the authority, and that's what builds your audience, honestly. And this is one of the most important parts of the funnel to build your audience. The top and middle funnel videos are extremely important. So once we have that, you're going to be this super awesome social media rock star. Okay, you're going to have this huge fan base of people that are super interested in what you're saying. They know all about your problem. They know all about how you can solve it, and they trust you. You're the authority. They look to you for guidance on specific things. Now what? We have your bottom of funnel now. Okay, this is where you show the solution clearly. Okay, this is where you offer, maybe it's a webinar like this. Maybe it's a certain way to think about things. Maybe it's tools that you're offering, kind of like what I'm doing here. Maybe it's offers, or you're just telling people how to move on from the problem and basically how to solve it, right? It's going to target the most qualified audience. These are people that already trust you. Like I said, in this scenario, you're already a social media super rock star with this fan base of people that absolutely adore you and listen to what you're saying. These are people that already trust you, okay? And this is where you make all the money. This is the bread and butter for most businesses, okay? It's optimized for signups. It's optimized for clicks. It's optimized for sales, DMs. All of that matters most. What I want you guys to understand is most bottom funnel videos aren't going to get as many views as your top funnel or middle funnel videos. Excuse me. These bottom of funnel videos won't get as many views as the other ones. Okay, but they're going to convert the best. Why? Because you're targeting a very specific audience of people that already know you with the bottom of funnel videos. Okay, it's not about building familiarity. It's not about establishing yourself as credible at this point. It's just about sales and pumping in the money. Okay, now to summarize, I know that was a lot of information, so I want to summarize the marketing funnel for you guys. So again, top of funnel is just going to introduce you to this new audience. It's your introductory video. It's a quick skit that entertains people in your industry. It is a very short video. Your middle of funnel video is going to be what establishes you as credible, as the authority. This type of video is what people are going to consume and feel like they can go to you for advice after watching, right? This is what sets you up for the kill, which is the bottom of funnel. Okay, bottom of funnel, again, that's where you get the sales. That's where you give the call to action. That's when you tell these people, hey, this is the problem. We've already know how to solve it. We already know how to solve it. Buy this to fix it, or set up a call, or do this, X, Y, Z, right? So again, quick summary of that. Now, I know what you're thinking. We kind of talked a little bit about how top of funnel videos are a little bit shorter. You guys are wondering, how long should these videos even be? And again, you can have that one 30-minute long YouTube video and a 8-second TikTok, and they both do extremely well. It's like, okay, well, we understand the marketing funnel now. How long should my top of funnel video be? How long should the middle funnel video be? How long should my bottom of funnel video be, right? I'm just going to give it to you straight up, guys. No nonsense. Right over here. Top of funnel video should be no more than 5 to 20 seconds. Why? Unfamiliar faces are going to get limited attention, dude. Nobody knows you yet. They have no reason to care about what you're doing, and their attention spans, unfortunately, now are fried. So having a 5 to 20 second clip where you can communicate your issue or communicate who you are and introduce yourself, almost like a hello handshake, 5 to 20 seconds is extremely important. Now, middle of funnel videos. I don't know why I can't pronounce that. 20 to 60 seconds. Why? This is setting everybody up for the kill, right? I'm sure some of you in this call, in this webinar, have probably sold something before. You understand when you're selling literally anything, the number one thing you have to give your client is information. Okay, so this middle of funnel video is where you're delivering that information. This is where, again, you're communicating what the issue is. And, the bottom of funnel video is how to solve it. Again, 45 seconds to 2 minutes. You have to give these people as many pieces of information, valuable information that you can in the bottom of funnel videos. They're going to listen. The retention is going to be a little bit higher on these videos because this is targeting an audience that already knows you. They already trust you, and they already see you as the authority, again, in your respected field. So we're going to recap. What do you know now? Okay. You know your purpose, you know your audience, and you know how long your video should be. We went over the entire marketing funnel. You guys are marketing geniuses at this point. Congratulations. You guys all have to give yourself a round of applause. Okay. Now, I know what you're wondering, dude. When can we start posting videos? And the answer to that is as soon as you got your research done. I know. The social media videos usually don't seem like there's a lot of effort in them. It doesn't seem like there's a ton of research that's involved in getting them done. But I can tell you right now that is absolutely not the case. There is a ton of research that goes into social media videos, understanding what is performing well, understand what other people in your industry are doing that's performing well, and how you can apply it to your videos. Okay. So how do you even do the research, right? It doesn't even make sense, dude. I know that's what you're asking. We're going to get right into that. What I want you to do is you're going to find 3 to 5 niche neighbors in your industry that are doing well. I like to thank Millie Adrian, first off, for coining that term, niche neighbors. I think that's absolutely genius. All that means is people in your industry, right? People in a similar niche. If you're in real estate, right? What are other realtors doing? What are they posting? How big is their audience? Do they have 10,000 followers? Do they have 100,000 followers? Do they have 1 million followers, right? The audience size is going to change what does well on that platform, right? If you have 100 million followers, you can probably post the most basic video ever and completely ignore the marketing funnel, and you'll still get 5 million views, right? Where if you're just starting off on a brand new account, you could post the most interesting video and put a ton of effort into this video and it'd be amazing and you get 0, right? So we want to understand sample size. Now, once you have 3 to 5 niche neighbors, again, I recommend taking different niche neighbors of different sizes, right? So maybe you have one that's 100,000 followers or one that's 10,000, 5,000, million, right? But once you have those, I want you guys to study their videos like no other. This is your homework. After this webinar, I want you guys to immediately find these niche neighbors, immediately start watching all of their videos. What we're going to do here is you're going to scroll through their account. You're going to see which videos performed better than the rest. There are always going to be some outliers. No matter how big their channel size is, there are always outliers of videos that just absolutely blew it out the water, that did amazing. So we're going to find those videos, study them, and understand what trends they're participating in. Sometimes, guys, you're going to be doing this research and realize that there's a specific trend going on that is getting people tons of engagement, like ridiculous engagement, millions of views, millions of followers, right? So we're going to find those outlier videos and also study the hashtags, okay? Don't neglect this, guys. This is extremely important. This is how the algorithm decides where your video goes, who watches your videos, right? In all your research and breaking down all the different videos and watching all the videos, there are going to be right around 2 to 3 different hashtags that you'll see they all share. I want you guys to steal those hashtags and apply it to your videos. Now, how do you know if you posted a good video? I know you just spent hours and hours and hours of time researching your different niche neighbors. You spent hours of time breaking down their videos. Maybe you finally put together a strategy, which we'll dive into here in just a second. But how do you know you posted a good video? Does it mean you got 10 million views? Not necessarily, right? You have to read the analytics. Now, I pulled some analytics from my own personal account, right? A couple videos that I did. And you see there are a ton of different metrics on there. I mean, you have views, obviously. Some have, this one has 846,000. This one has 647,000, 259,000, right? You have total play time, average watch time. This right over here, we're going to dive into this. It gets me super excited, but how many people watched your videos and how many people converted into followers, right? I know you're like, dude, what does this even mean? Like, I can read the numbers, sure, but I don't know how to pivot from there. That's exactly what I'm going to teach you right here. So, what to look for in your analytics. Watch time. This is the number one important metric to be looking for. Okay. Number one, social media platforms will only post your videos and push your videos out if you're keeping people on their platform for longer. There is no reason for them to push your video out if nobody's staying on their platform for longer. Okay. So, number one metric right here, watch time and retention. So, with this, a good metric for this, it's golden standard, if you will be 45 to 50% of the video, meaning out of, we'll say 1 million people that watched your video, the average of those million watched it to at least 50% of completion. Now, we also want 20% of those people to watch the video all the way through. That's how you know you came out with a banger video, okay? We also have, this is everybody's favorite thing on social media, the likes, the comments, right? The follows. What does that look like? How do I know I posted a good video? How do I read the likes? What's a good like percentage, right? 10% of people should be liking your video, at least 10%, okay? If you don't have that 10% ratio, there's something off. You need to pivot. You can go absolutely above and beyond that 10%. Some people get 50% for a real banger of a video, right? But again, golden standard, 10% bare minimum, okay? At least 2% of people should be commenting as well. You're going to get a lot less comments than likes, right? Not that many people. I know I'm one of those people that doesn't like commenting on every video. I don't know. It's just not my thing. So 2%, feel proud of that. And then shares and saves. If you have 1%, it sounds extremely low. I promise you, this is not as small of a metric as you think it is. 1% is the golden standard. So out of everybody that has viewed your video, if you have 1% of those people sharing it to other people or saving it, the algorithm is going to see that and say, okay, you know what? Seth posted a video. Jim viewed the video and sent it to his buddy, Jack. Now Jack's on the platform for longer, so is Jim. Algorithm likes me. Boom, my video is blowing up now. I'm so happy. So, awesome. If we have any questions, again, guys, feel free to just drop it in the chat. But, yeah, that is pretty much everything for now, guys. I really thank you all. Like I said, we're getting free money. So if you're at the end of this webinar now, then you are clearly one of the people that is taking this extremely seriously. So I included not only my personal information so you can reach out to me should you feel like it, but I also added a QR code. So if you guys want to go ahead and scan that, you are more than welcome to. That's going to set you up on a phone call with me, and it'll also give you a 20% discount on all of our goods and services, which is extremely important, guys. We just dived into literally everything you need. And again, this takes hours and hours of research. So if you don't want to do that, funny enough, we do all of that for you. So yeah, feel free to scan that, set up a call with me, but I'll sit here if anybody has any questions, and we'll hang out. But yeah, super appreciate you guys for joining, and hopefully we'll see you on the next one.